Another edition of Cooking with Jean. Today I am starting on lasagna. Now the reason why I'm saying starting is lasagna is pretty much a 2-day process. Normally what I do is I make the sauce the first day, then I let it sit and rest in the refrigerator so all the flavors melt together, and then the next day we put it together. Well, I'm kind of going to shorten that just a little bit since I am making this for New Year's Eve dinner. And I don't particularly feel like doing much cooking tomorrow, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make everything today. But I'm going to put the assembled lasagna, uncooked, into the refrigerator for overnight so everything melds together. So, to get started, we have what we're cooking. And what I'm using today is ground bison, buffalo. We have a local butcher's that sells it. So what we're going to do is get the pan going. Probably should have done this a minute ago. And it's lovely meat, old-fashioned way. So, and isn't that just gorgeous? So, yes. Now, bison is a nice lean meat, but it also has flavor. Now, what's the problem with a lot of lean meats today is they've managed to breed all the flavor out of the beef and pork, because fat is where the meat is, or fat is where the flavor is. Don't mind me, I haven't had enough coffee today. Not to mention the fact that we managed to get snowed in. Snow isn't that deep, but we've got a field just down over here, and the wind is coming from that away, blowing that away, and took all the snow that was on those fields and blew it across the road. And we're apparently not too terribly high priority for when it comes to the county snowplow, so we had to wait. Don't know if they've come through yet or not, but the hubby went out at one point, and there was a poor guy who's stuck in a snowdrift trying to dig himself out and kind of blocking the road, so it wasn't safe to continue on, so he came back. So, okay. Waiting for the pan to heat up. Okay, got the pan is heated up. So, and because buffalo is a bit lean, just going to add a little bit of oil, not much. Really like using bottles previously, and get these at your bar supply. These make it really nice for pouring. So, that. I always like to start with a cold pan, let it heat up before I add the oil. Now normally, there we go, I would be using ground beef, but since this is something a little special, I'm going with the buffalo. And cost per pound, you can get it in a good place. A little pricier than, say, a good lean ground beef, but yeah, still just a teeny bit frozen, but that'll. I have a very efficient freezer and fridge. So, and this is about 1.5 pounds. Turn it up just a little bit. Okay. So we will get this sizzling away. Now, the one nice thing about using a lean meat like this is you're not going to have a lot to pour off, fat-wise. But then again, I very rarely get lean cuts of meat when they're expensive. But when we do go for it, I like to get quality, preferably local grown. And actually, this is local grown. There's a couple places just north of us that raises bison. So, and a place that raises elk. So I can get my hands on elk meat. So, okay. Let's go. Let that cook a bit. We'll be right back. Meat, pretty well browned. There is very little fat, just some juices. We want that. So now we add more ingredients. Got some onions. And garlic. Now, I like using, this is my favorite sheet, already minced garlic in a big jar. And because I use it a lot, so I buy the big jar. If you don't use a lot of garlic, buy the smaller jars. And I do like to use fresh on occasion. So, let's see, there's one. And a little more. I could always add more if it's not enough flavors. So, now normally with regular ground beef, you would drain this before you would add the garlic and that, because you don't want it too greasy. Let that go in and heat through. So, oh, it is smelling yummy now. This ground buffalo is, somebody was asking me what ground buffalo tasted like, and I tasted it. Yes, it would taste like beef if Mega Market store ground beef actually had any flavor. It's got a nice, meaty flavor. So if you see it, don't be afraid to try it. Just get a little bit, cook it up, see how you like it. You might not like it. Some people don't. But it is quite delish. Now, a little seasoning, a little ground pepper. I do fresh grind. But I don't use a pepper grinder. I use a coffee grinder I got from my dad after he died. This is only used for pepper. Don't, whatever you do not attempt to use your regular coffee grinder to grind pepper, unless you happen to like pepper flavored coffee. Okay, let's stir that in a bit. Oh yeah. I used frozen onions that I had sliced and froze. So there's a little bit of extra liquid in there from the ice crystals, but not a problem. Nice pinch of kosher salt. Now I like to add my seasonings now. And this is just an Italian seasoning blend I get from the store in bulk. And a little secret, just to add a couple crushed chilies. Now, I don't like to use much, so maybe about that much. It doesn't need much. Just enough to give it a little bit of heat. Now this will allow all those spices and such to react with the oils to give them a little extra pow to them. So give that a couple and stir. Oh yeah. Some seriously good juices coming out of those onions and garlic. Yeah, the garlic also had some liquid in it too, so I'll just let that cook off a minute. Now I have everything else ready. We're going to have one can of tomato sauce and the equivalent of 1 can of tomato paste. Now, I managed to get one of those big number 10 cans full of tomato paste. Half of it I dried, half of it I dolloped onto a cookie sheet and froze it. And then I popped it into Ziploc bags and then into the freezer. Now, you can also freeze these in ice cube trays. This theoretically you can get measured amounts because a lot of recipes only call for 2 tablespoons. Well, I have a tendency of, okay, one of these is about 2 tablespoons. Okay, very generous tablespoons. So, we have that. Put some of the stuff away. Okay. Just another stir. Okay, so I want to put our tomato paste in. Let that start. So you can just pop these in straight from the freezer, because they will melt as they cook, or you can take them out a while ahead of time and let it do that. So, and then, let's go with it. Now, you don't want this too liquidy. This is going in lasagna, so you want it to be a little more on the thick side than you would, say, a good hearty tomato sauce. Well, actually, this tomato sauce, spaghetti sauce. Well, I mentioned that I'm having trouble talking today, so just like that. Rinse that can out. All that tomatoey goodness. There we go. Bring that up to a boil. Oh yeah. Oh, it's smelling good. Tastes pretty good too. Maybe a little extra. The thing is, we don't want to overwhelm that flavor of that absolutely yummy buffalo. And that tomato sauce, tomato paste will help thicken even more. Oh yeah, there we go. So yeah, so you want a good thick sauce. So, and just for a little added extra, I like to add a little bit of balsamic vinegar. So just a bit. And just stir that in. Just like that. Oh, yeah. Oh yes, that balsamic vinegar, it's just, oh, absolutely yummy. So, and let us turn that down to a simmer. Give that another little taste. Okay. So we're going to let that simmer for a while. I will go ahead and add a cover to it. And a little later today, we will assemble a lasagna. So in the meantime, talk at you later. Okay, things are coming along. We've got sauce simmering, and it is absolutely to die for. So next step is lasagna noodles, and what I do is I parboil my noodles, precisely due to the fact that the pan I use is round, so you can't quite put flat noodles, dry noodles in a round pan. So I have, these will of course enlarge a bit, 4 noodles per layer, and I do 3 layers, so I've got 1, 2, this has a few extra little, it's kind of broken, so extra. So as soon as this comes to a boil, so big pot, throw in about a 1/4 cup of salt. You want the salt, bring this to a boil, and you can see it's starting to boil. Then into the water. Let's get this to a rolling boil. Oh yeah, coming along nicely. Okay, so we will let those start softening. Ow! Hot water. So, that's underneath. That into the water. There we go. Okay, now we just let those boil in the water for a few minutes. Then we will take them out, drain them, rinse them, and then we will start building the lasagna. Okay, now we're getting ready to start assembling, but right now we have to finish chopping the cheese. Now, one of the reasons why everybody likes my lasagna, especially my hubby, is I start with 2 pounds of cheese, and that's just the mozzarella. Now, I would love to be able to get good whole milk mozzarella. Even better yet, I would love to get real buffalo milk, water buffalo milk mozzarella. But there's only about one place in the country that sells it, and they have no place locally I can get it, since apparently they're not doing mail order anymore. Bummer, bummer, bummer. So, in the meantime, I'll use, in this case, we've got Tillamook. It's a very good quality cheese. So, Now that's all chopped up. Now the other cheeses I use is, of course, ricotta, not sure what. Now, again, I would prefer to have gotten the whole milk ricotta, but they were out. So I got the regular skim milk, which isn't bad. Not at all. That's what I used for years and years before they finally came out with a whole milk ricotta. So, and why am I putting it in this bowl, you may ask? Well, I don't quite like, I like ricotta. It's good. But the texture in lasagna, it's just not creamy enough. Now, growing up, my mother never used it. She always used cottage cheese. Now, cottage cheese is good, but it's just too creamy. Now, in this case, you get large curd. You want the 4% milk fat. You don't want the skim stuff and the small curd. So what I have found, if I blend the two together, it's just the right consistency for what I like. So we'll just mix the two here. There we go. Oh yeah, that's looking good. Set that there, set that there. Bring this over. Mayonnaise. Bring over the sauce. There you go. Okay. So we're going to want to spray a bit. Now we're going to take our first layer. Now this is why, see, it's pliable, but not overcooked, not cooked thoroughly. So we will put down our first layer. Put that in a little bit. So, yeah, things will be kind of a little slip and slidey. I'll just kind of do that. Now for some sauce. Just kind of sprinkle the sauce in. And just kind of moosh it around a bit. Don't worry if a little bit gets under the noodles. That's fine. There we go. So, now what I'm going to do is dollop in this mixture. Okay, there we go. Kind of spread it a little bit. Don't worry about getting it perfect, as we will be kind of squishing it down with, and don't worry if you get a little of the sauce on there. It's all going into the same place. So now, just toss in those wonderfully ooey gooey nuggets of cheese. We haven't mentioned I like cheese. Okay, couple more. Now, I like to add a little bit of cheddar, just to give it a little extra color and a little extra bite. So, first layer down. Then I like to turn this just a bit. Come down with the second layer. Okay, yeah, we can. Okay, making sure I got plenty of next layer. And don't worry about the layers being even. They don't need to be. Okay, let's dollop up the rest for the last layer. Just kind of smooch that out. Okay, more cheese. Now I have been getting shredded mozzarella from Costco too, but fortunately milk prices have gone through the roof of late. So last time in, I had to choose, had to pick either mozzarella or cheddar. So, and since I tend to do more with cheddar than I do mozzarella, I opted to not pick any up this time. This actually shredded does make it a little easier to sprinkle. Now the final layer. Yeah, we'll go this way. Now, how you do this all will wholly depend upon what pan you use. If you've got a regular lasagna pan, then of course you don't have to get creative with the sticking the noodles in. But interestingly enough, I have always used round pans. But I've always used round pans. So I guess it's just traditional. We use round pans. So okay, we've got the last bit to go on. Okay, I'm going to get the last of that sauce in. And yes, it does kind of come up a bit. Maybe one day I'll find a lasagna pan I like. Traditional lasagna pan, but this is what I'm used to. This is what I like. Okay. Yes. Oh, that lovely cheesy goodness. So, kind of try and make it look pretty if you want. So, of course everything's going to go. Lots of cheese on top. Okay, put those there. We'll kind of place these little cheese nuggets all around. And this last bit of color. So now you just kind of Now I will simply take this, cover it with some saran wrap, and into the refrigerator to rest overnight. And then tomorrow I will pop it in the oven and we will have lasagna for dinner. See you tomorrow. Okay, it is now time to put the lasagna in the oven. I've had it out for just a little bit just to get the chill off of it. So, and it is looking quite good. Just kind of tuck a few things in there. Oh well. So, we will slide it into the oven. I put it on a cookie sheet because we usually do have some boil over. So, in we go. It is a very heavy lasagna. So there it goes. (350-degree) oven. So we will turn it on. Well, about 45 minutes or so. And we shall have dinner. So, we'll check it when it gets done. And here we have a lovely lasagna. Let that rest a few minutes, then dish up, and then yum. So, looking forward to dinner. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.